Well, thank you everybody for being patient. Welcome to Sporking News Podcast. I'm Scott.
When are we going live? So I can get
I think
ready.
we're going to be going live now, drunk.
All right.
We're on. People are there. Everyone say hello. How are you, Mary? How are you?
How are you, Scott?
I'm doing great. Drunk. Thank you for
Everyone say
clothes.
hello. Hello, Mary. Is that what you said?
Yes, say hello, Mary.
Psst. Hello, Mary.
Hello,
There
Mary.
you go. That wasn't
Hello.
nice enough, but okay.
Hello,
How you doing?
Hello,
Good
Clarice.
evening, angels.
It's not Larry, it's Mary, Comix Division.
I said Mary, but someone was talking.
No, but just go with it.
Okay.
We'll just do
Hello,
that. All right.
Larry.
Thank you guys all for coming in. We've had some technical difficulties. I am somewhere off site from my house, and the internet connection isn't good. I had to have good old, God, I'm blanking right now, but we had to anchor it. So we're good now, I think. I think we're good. So why don't we introduce everybody? But pretty much I'm guessing everybody already knows you guys. But please, let's start with Mary. Once again, introduce yourself, your channel, and how you're doing tonight.
Oh, well, I'm doing wonderful. Thank you so much for asking me, Scott. Hi, guys. My name is Mary B. I am the Mistress of Mayhem, disruptor of the narrative, and official Whammon card holder. And I'm having a lovely night, and I'm here with a couple of my favorite people, really. So couldn't be any more peachy keen.
Nice. Thank you, Mary. And Drunk. 3PO
Hello.
is, are you wearing clothes or are you not wearing clothes?
No
That's
pants.
the question.
I don't have any
No pants?
Since we went Avatar, I could get back. Look, I live in Florida. It's hot. It's hot every day. It's hot in my house.
In my mind, you're always drunk
Drunk suffers from a
And-
swamp.
and
ass.
naked.
Bro.
How hot is it
Thanks
down
for doing
there
the
now?
Avatar thing, man. I appreciate it.
Well, I wanted you to feel comfortable. I had to get you on somehow.
Well, you get me on.
I didn't
every
get to
other
Oh,
finish,
yeah.
but in my mind, he's always drunk and naked.
Not just your mind, Tom.
Oh, I know. We're sharing this thought right now. That's why we're in like total tune here.
Yeah, we're totally. Tom is like my triplet that got lost at birth.
She's trying
Lost
to
at
make
birth.
me gay.
I already have a twin. He can't be my twin. I already have a twin, so he's got to be like.
Who's your twin?
I have a twin brother.
Really?
Were you not,
Where
were
have
you
you
not paying
been?
attention last Friday, dude? I mean,
I
I talked
know.
all about this.
Do you not pay attention to people?
Was I there last Friday?
Yes, your world should revolve around me, Scott.
I know. Shit. I don't think I was there. I think
You should
I
know
was.
where she was
You
born.
with
were
sick
there for
children.
Friday Night Tides.
Well,
I mean,
no,
at
I
least
said
part of it.
hello.
Hell, I know her
jumped in.
social security number. I mean,
Wow. That's okay. All right. Well, Comix, you're below me. Thanks for coming. How are you?
I'm below you, thanks. I'm good, dude. I'm good. How are you?
Good.
How's
You've been working
everyone
on
doing? Yeah, actually, I recorded a video last night. I just haven't had a chance to release it today, so that should be coming out probably tomorrow, I guess, at this point. So I actually hit the primetime YouTube suggested, time to release videos window because I missed it
Yeah.
today.
Oh, so there is a suggested time.
No,
See, I don't follow that
it's something I know that Candy kind of figured out. That basically from like I want to say it's like 9 to like 4 p.m. is like Central Time. That's like the window to go and release stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
That's
I
good
don't know
to
if
know.
that's true or not, but
I know you should try to be steady, like steady with your times, which I never am. So,
neither am I.
and that's why I just broke 500. Okay.
Congrats.
So, well, thank you.
I'm definitely the quintessential. This is how you should not YouTube. So yeah, just see my channel, and I can give you tips on how not to do things.
Oh man, you put out great stuff though.
I appreciate it.
Consistency. Don't look at me. I have no idea what I'm doing.
I give you guys all, and Tom, I'm sorry. Hi Tom, how are you? You look great.
I am peachy keen as a jelly bean.
You look
Fantastic.
handsome as always, Tom.
Oh, I don't know about that. Drunk 3PO is still the sexiest man on YouTube by far.
Thank you. I got a couple more years left in me.
Well, you've been hitting the gym.
I have. Thank
getting
you. Thank you for
getting those
noticing.
mirror shots. Oh, I have. I stalk you. So I mean, you are
I'm
putting
getting
up.
ready for Star Wars. I plan on going to Star Wars Celebration and impregnating at least 7 people.
Just by looking at them, right?
So,
Just by looking at them.
yeah, no Me Too moment. No touchy. No touchy.
Dang it.
No.
He's just got that look. All he has to do is just give you that look, and you're
Can I,
pregnant.
can I just acknowledge that my hoe is in the chat? So Drunk 3PO is Anna's hoe, but my hoe is in the chat.
Hey, we don't talk about that.
No, you are. You're a hoe, but you're such a useful hoe, Drunk. You are.
Well, that's what counts.
That is sweet. All right. So let's move on. So who do we have in the chat? I actually have somebody else working the chat for me right now. All right, that's Stephen, the great author, is in the backstage helping me out. Is that Caffeinated Comic Books?
Yeah, that's Andrew.
First time in my chat.
That's Andrew. He's
Andrew.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right.
my hoe.
Well, thank
No,
you for
Andrew
jumping
is a
in.
jerk. Let me tell you something. He's a jerk.
No,
he's the guy who goes around correcting my grammar
he's
every
not.
freaking tweet.
He's not.
Yes, he
Look,
does.
it's your own fault. You need to learn how to
Oh God, I do it on purpose now, just to upset him.
Well, not only does he need to learn how to type, he also needs to learn how to spell. You know, those two things kind of go hand in hand when it comes to Twitter, at least.
Yeah, but isn't Twitter? Aren't you allowed not to be very proper with Twitter because you're
You
trying to fit
are,
everything?
you are, but there are just some things that you should really try to sort out, like the difference between there, and there.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah, you're right. I just don't care because my thumbs are fat and I just can't type on this iPhone. So whatever.
Well, let
Sorry,
me ask.
Andrew.
Let
Sorry.
me ask this: commas? Do commas have to be used in Twitter? Because I never use commas.
I think it depends on the situation. Like how much of a picture are you trying to paint?
Well, like,
I
let's say
typically
don't.
do. I will actually use commas in Twitter.
Yeah.
Okay, so even on a word that they know, like DONT, I won't put the comma in don't. You know?
Yeah, I typically don't because it's just a waste of a character. But like
Exactly.
if you're trying to weave a narrative and you've only got that little bit of space or whatever, like just do your best to like try to make it coherent, right? Because sometimes the comma is the difference between something making sense and not.
That is true.
So
That is true. I was never good with the English language, so you guys got me on that one.
I knew it. I knew it. He was coming. I knew he was coming with it.
Ho's got a hoe, even in grown man spelling. Okay. Get a phone that isn't for teenage girls, Jay.
iPhone for life, baby. I'm not getting rid of my iPhone.
I have an iPhone and I don't have any problems. Well, I do have problems actually, but yeah, it's usually with autocorrect.
I think we all got problems, but that's
I got
all right.
99 problems, but an iPhone ain't one of them because I can't afford that shit.
Yeah, Andrew, I used to have an Android. Then I could afford an iPhone. How you like that one? How you like that one?
He's making the big bucks.
See, I went iPhone to Android. I like the Samsung personally. So
Everybody
I don't know.
keeps telling me that I should switch to Android. I was actually talking about that earlier with someone about how, but you get in your habit, right? I have my little habit of my iPhone. When a new one comes out and you switch over, enough's changed to make it feel special, but not so much that you have to like start over learning how to use your phone. So
Yeah,
I
Are
guess
you
so.
kidding? I wait so long. I have that problem all the time. But anyway,
I
sorry.
have an answer. The great old question. Everyone says, Christy, I have an answer. Twitter needs an edit button. I realize now why they don't have an edit button. And they actually sent me a message and told me. Because Twitter is like it's some kind, like some of the people have it. It's like public record, like the president and everything like that. So you can't go back. So basically, if I was talking really terrible about Tom, and then he's like tried to report me, the tweets are there, and I can't go back and edit it, saying no, he's a liar. You should kick him out. Yeah. So it's like that's why they don't have an edit button.
I'm actually good with it.
I was like, oh, that makes sense. So there you go.
I'm good
they
with
sent
it.
me a message. They actually kept saying it, and I found someone from Twitter sent me a message saying this is why we don't have an edit button. I was like, oh, okay. Sorry.
Were you actually asking them, or
I kept freaking tweeting Twitter saying I need a freaking edit button. Look at this. Like every time I screwed up, I kept tweeting them, and they finally got back to me in my DM saying, "Hey, this is why we don't have it." They sent like some, the more you know, like email looking thing. It wasn't like someone typing it. It was just like terms of service thing. I was like, okay, all right. Well, thanks for clearing that up.
Yeah,
you know what, Stig? You need to go to the store, Stig, and buy some socks with color. That's all I gotta say.
Because I agree with you on the edit button. I am the type of guy, like on YouTube.
Why does everybody hate my Stig so much?
Stig is lovely. Stig is lovely.
Stig is cool, man. Stig is cool.
Yeah, so is everybody else in the chat. You know, we have
Mary's trying to keep
way
us
to make
apart.
nobody special by making everybody special, Spork. What the hell?
well, I'm trying to be. I don't want to separate people. I want to bring people together.
Yes, you do. Everybody wants to separate me and Stig.
I'm not keeping you apart, damn it.
Yes, you are.
No,
She
I'm
is.
not.
You talked to her before the show, didn't you, Jeff?
Hey, check private chat.
Private chat, it is. I may have.
See, I know.
If you need to, it depends on when he jumps in, man.
He should be
just sent a
jumping in
message
pretty soon.
saying He just sent a message saying he's coming in,
Okay.
and then I can come back, so it's all good.
All right.
Well, actually, I'm gonna have to check out sooner than later. So if you want to stick around, Jay, you do that because I got to work on a stupid video quick. But we do have
problem.
Bill here now. I see.
Yeah. What's going on, man?
The
Hello.
whitest man on the internet.
That is true. Congratulations, Scott, on halfway to pay.
And he's still a robot to me. It'll take a while, but you guys are talking to him.
He said, "Congratulations, Jeff. Your head
Oh,
looks big."
If I did not say anything, he would have been just saying that. I would just not answered. Sorry, man. It takes a little while. Like I said, I'm having technical difficulties. We tried something. I guess it's not working. But give it 5 minutes. I'll be able to talk to
I'll
you.
keep translating. It's fine.
All right,
Okay,
we'll do
so
that.
basically it's just
So
a
let's
delay.
jump into it then. Let's talk a little Star Wars because I need you guys. Like I said before, it's really hard to make videos. You guys are making videos every freaking day. It seems like you're on point. I love the views you take. Can someone explain to me what the hell was that journey we went with Palpatine? The explanation of Palpatine being in that final movie. Can someone tell me
McClunky.
the genesis?
McClunky. So what's the explanation? Are you talking which retcon specifically are we?
Well, I mean, we've heard many different things, right, Mary? I mean, like,
So
someone
many
explain.
retcons. So there's so many retcons. So it depends on which retcon you're talking about. If you're talking about Palpatine, there's multiple retcons on that front. So the Palpatine front, turns out apparently he was not still alive, quote unquote. His body that we see there is in fact a rapidly decaying clone. Now, no one has yet explained to me why it is that you would clone Palpatine and also reassert those whole face scars thing from the lightning. I'm not sure why they decided that particular aesthetic was something to carry over into a clone, but okay, sure, fine, whatever. So that was one of the retcons, and then now the newest retcon is that Rey is not in fact Palpatine's granddaughter, that she is the daughter of a failed clone that Palpatine just let leave to go off and live his merry little life.
Oh
That is so ridiculous. Now, another thing too is that they're stealing all this shit from Dark Empire because and there was actually an explanation how Palpatine got into a flawed clone body because Luke went and destroyed all the clones except for one, and that one was flawed, and it degenerated quicker than the others. And the reason why they were degenerating was because the fact that he was so strong with the dark side, it would just go and corrupt the body and cause it to decay. And that was the reason why he was wanting to go and possess Anakin Solo. At least I think it was Anakin Solo. But anyway,
Yeah, he was still in the womb at that time, right?
yeah, he was still in the womb at the time. So yeah, I mean, it's they're going. They went and decanonized all the EU, and they're going and they're robbing from it.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you, though. I remember looking at that comic. He was young, and the clones were young, strong, like handsome versions of himself. Why is it that Mary's correct? I mean, it's almost like they cloned the beat-up version of him after he blew up.
No, that's just dumb. But
That's because JJ's
originally-
stupid, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. JJ's stupid. But originally, that's just how he looked because his body would just degenerate, and it had nothing to do with force lighting. He just looked terrible because his body was just decrepit. He just got corrupted.
Okay. But didn't we hear also that how did they get the DNA? That's my question. I was told I believe what's a hairbrush?
Hairbrush, yeah.
I thought we were told first that they found his body after he blew up twice and went through the atmosphere and landed on the moon, that they found the body and brought it back.
So if I understand correctly, in the actual expanded universe, it was something that he'd worked on deliberately prior to his actual demise. Whereas in this, so far, I've seen no explanation.
Yeah, it was his plan
there
of
hasn't been
immortality. Like each clone was like a hollow husk, and he would just possess it as needed.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I hear you. Hey, Script, what's going on, man?
You can hear me now. All right,
Yeah,
cool.
I hear you now. It's so weird how that works. Okay, so back up a little bit again. You have a clone in Snoke that looks, at least to me, that he can contain the power that he has, and I think we could all agree, is very powerful. Why not just possess that body?
It's a very good question.
What we will never
If
get
only
an
they
answer
thought
to.
about Palpatine
Yes.
beforehand.
Yes.
Right. Tell us, Script, tell them what you said last night. Like what it should have been.
Oh, how I would have brought back Palpatine and not had it destroy Anakin's arc?
Yeah, like a Cliff Notes version, real quick.
Oh, yeah. It's just like an inversion of the Force Ghost. So the dark side exists on its own like plane within the Force, and if a Jedi were to fall to the dark side and use dark side powers, it would manifest a parasite, so to speak, that we would then call Palpatine. So he would first be kind of like an echo in the back of the dark Jedi's mind, and as that dark Jedi got more corrupted with the dark side, it would eventually manifest into a corporeal form, and then he would just parasite off of that dark side user until that user died, in which case by that point the parasite would have already started training another apprentice that he would parasite off of, and he could do this continually over and over again. And so in order to defeat the dark side, you'd have to essentially throw the devil off your shoulder, which is what Anakin did at the end of Jedi. And the whole reason why the Force is for knowledge and defense and never attack is because the act of attack would lead to the dark side and manifest this parasite, which would then corrupt Jedi, and a cyclical effect. So the whole idea is that a true Jedi never falls to the dark side, because if they do, they create the parasite that we now know as Palpatine. So you could have that with Ben Solo. Essentially, he gets tempted to the dark side and manifests Palpatine back again, and it doesn't destroy what Anakin did, because he achieved what he set out to achieve. He redeemed himself. He cast aside the devil, as it were. But any Jedi that were to ever go near that, it would happen to them as well. And so that's kind of how I would have done it.
That and Jedi like to generally send a nasty note first. They don't like to start shit.
Yeah.
Exactly. They'll be curt.
So this is the
Strongly
question.
worded letter.
How we doing, Gary?
Oh, great. Just
I know that
great.
voice.
This was the best weekend. Oh my God.
Didn't that
Tell me
voice
what-
used to own a video or a comic book store?
Yes, I did. And I wish I was back there right now.
I almost hear your beard while I'm at it.
What was your least favorite moment of the weekend with all the things we've heard?
Doctor Who, by far. Doctor Who was utterly destroyed as a franchise. Worse than Star Wars, worse than Star Trek, worse than Marvel Comics.
Okay, so I know you're a fan of Doctor Who and Script. I think you are too. I don't know if anybody else.
Yeah, I dropped out the Capaldi pilot because a friend of mine was working on it, and he showed me it with like the Dark Knight music that they temped over it. And
Wow.
there was this speech by Clara where she goes like, "How dare you?" Because this other alien insinuated that she only liked the previous Doctor because he was good looking. And I was like, if that's the direction they're taking with this series now, I'm out. Like, I'm not even going to bother. Sorry, I like Peter Capaldi a lot, but no, I'm not going to do that. And so I ditched out and haven't seen the Doctor Who episode since.
That was probably a smart move on your part.
Those
Yeah,
those first 5 episodes leaked too with that Dark Knight music. I have them.
Oh, I
Wow.
bet I know exactly the guy who leaked them.
Yep.
All right. So tell me what happened though, Gary. Why did they finally? I mean, you've said they've jumped the shark before. How did they destroy it now?
Okay, I'll do it in Star Wars terms. Imagine if Luke Skywalker was originally a girl and the source of the Force, and Palpatine and Yoda found this little girl outside of a time portal, extrapolated the Force from this little girl by killing her over and over again, and then then she grows up to an adult, de-aging her as a baby, turning her into a boy, and then saying the Force was just something that came from the universe, or it was the midichlorians, when it really came from the little girl. That's the best way. Also, Critical Drinker did a pretty good analogy of, imagine if you loved a teddy bear.
Oh, that was a great one.
You put a big giant black dildo on it and say it's still a teddy bear. And if you don't like the giant black dildo, then you're against teddy bears. That's exactly what happened. I mean, it was unbelievable. And I got this rumor from, hi everybody, by the way, congratulations on Halfway to Pay.
Oh, thank you, Gary. Thank you.
I'm still reeling from this shit though. Like, it's because I really love this show, and I'm like so pissed, and it's not getting better. So yeah, they just ruined everything, and it's the why. They went back and made the Doctor originally a baby black girl, and there's infinite amount of doctors now, so that takes away from Tom Baker being the 4th Doctor, David Tennant being the 10th Doctor, Matt Smith being the 11th Doctor. That's all gone. William Hartnell is no longer the 1st Doctor, completely shaming and disgracing him. It just completely screws the canon. The BBC's official statement is this was an origin story. It's not being undone. It's not a trick. This is how it is, and most people are just out at this point, like including myself. I'm done. I'm like,
that's ridiculous. So in a way, Gary, what they're doing is they're saying the story is a little girl gets abused over and over and over again, which they steal her power and give it to a boy and say, go out to the world. That's what it sounds like.
It's an anti-Western civilization message.
Yes,
so
it is.
It's basically the colonialist powers went in and appropriated the power from a little marginalized citizen, we'll say, and called the power their own, and limited the power, and hoarded it, basically. So it's not subtle. And then within the narrative of the show, they clown the fans. Later on, if you replace the Doctor's memories with canon, they're like, what does it matter anyway? What does it matter? Well, if nothing matters in your story, then it doesn't matter. Script Doctor would know this.
Why watch, right?
You're breaking everything about storytelling, which is investment, and we're watching the story unfold, and there's nothing wrong with adding to it, and there's nothing wrong with being more inclusive and diverse. Doctor Who's never had that problem ever.
Nope.
And it just turned partisan and political, and it just turned into a giant schlocky message. And this was so important to them to change imagine changing the entire history of Star Trek or Star Wars in a voiceover montage where none of the characters speak a line of dialogue. It's hard to convey it if you didn't see it. It's 56 years of canon they just flushed down the toilet.
Right.
They could only fix it with a Bob Newhart ending.
Yep.
where it's Peter Capaldi wakes up and he's like, oh my God, I had a horrible fever dream. Or he's like poisoned by something.
This has been continuous, right? This is the longest on-air show, right? They haven't taken a break, have they?
No, they took a break. They took a 15-year break. Oh, okay. There was dark times. Here's the problem: is the people who run this stuff. We know things before they do. We're on the ground level. We're in the front lines of fandom. So they're about 2 years behind us. So they got all this, when Force Awakens was successful, and Doctor Who was initially successful in its first couple of episodes, they just decided to take all that information and run with it, going, yes, this reinforces all of our beliefs, without looking at any of the data after that, without looking at The Last Jedi, without looking at the rest of the season for Doctor Who. So that's how we get to where we are with The Fall of Skywalker, with Doctor Who. And Star Trek just doesn't listen to their fans. They're in denial about everything because it was never successful. Star Trek Discovery was never successful. They just want to, they stopped reading the tea leaves. They stopped listening to the fans and started just believing what they wanted to. And now, all these things are done. Star Wars is, this is like, does anybody even care? I know you guys were talking about the clone. It's like, that is the most ridiculous thing. And that came the same day that Doctor Who died, by the way. That announcement about Palpatine being a clone came the same fucking day.
Yeah. When I tweeted about it, and even in the first sentence of my video about it was like, who fucking cares at this point?
That's part of the problem, is that they're focusing on stuff that nobody cares about. And I curious as to why it is even remotely possible to engage people again by using all these retcons. They're literally just ticking everybody off. I'm not sure what they hope to accomplish. It's just all of these retcons over and over and over again. They're literally making everyone mad. The Raylos are pissed off. Even the Mary Sue's mad at him now. So, like, did you guys see that article?
No, I haven't. I have to check this out.
Mary Sue.
The Mary Sue's mad at him.
Mary Sue is great, dude.
In a strange way,
so
they're
terrible.
uniting fandom again.
In a very weird way.
By destroying their own creations. That's the worst. Now, okay, so we got. What did Mary Sue say, Mary? No, I'm asking you. What did the Mary Sue? What was the article about?
Let me pull it up here. I threw it earlier, and I'll see if I can give you a quick run, like not like read the entire thing, but a quick overview.
All right, while you look for that stuff, we have Doctor Who blowing up, destroying, per these guys. We got Ruin Johnson telling he doesn't even give a crap about anything that came before or after. He was just making his own movie.
He exposed his misunderstanding of storytelling. Right.
We have my favorite, George R.R. Martin. Probably I'll never finish the books that I love. And they ruined that series. Where is it going to change? Where, Sonic, they listen to us, but that's not a huge franchise. What franchise can come back or jump in? Does Lord of the Rings have a chance? Like, what is it?
Ghostbusters probably your first start. Yeah.
Dude, it's bad when the Mary Sue. So when the Mary Sue, which has been so thrilled with, just a movie ago, they were so thrilled. Oh, the Wham and Power were on board. They were doing everything they could to justify every single decision that was made by these sequel trilogy movies, right? And now they're all aghast. Like, Rey's grandpa is also her dad. What is this Star Wars? It's gotten bad when it's to the point where even the Mary Sue can't make excuses for you anymore. That's literally where we're sitting, and I think that's hilarious.
Has anyone seen the Tom Arnold movie The Stupids? Because there's a song in there that's like "I'm my own grandpa," and I'm recollecting that right now.
Wow, that's great.
I'm my own grandpa.
He performs the hell out of that song, I have to say.
That's the highlight of that film. Otherwise, it's pretty stupid.
It really is. I think John Landis directed that.
I think so. I think that was the movie that ended his career at that point.
So where do we go?
And him and Tom Arnold simultaneously, I might add, probably. That if Tom Arnold ever really had a career besides True Lies, but yeah.
Yeah, the True Lies was his best performance.
He was funny on the Best Damn Sports Show for a little while until I think he picked up the coke again and.
Yeah, but that's kind of
he started going nutty
for who could be considered at least a B-list movie star anyway.
Yeah, he was funny in Austin Powers, I guess.
Oh yeah.
He was funny in Austin Powers.
Yeah, that short bit. I think you're right though. That was a great sports channel or show in general. That was one of the last great ones.
Yep.
That just fell apart though. I used to love that one. So we were gonna talk about Star Wars and stuff. Gary, you put it the perfect way. It's not. I think I might have gone through the grieving. I was angry. I was in disbelief. I was making deals, and now I just accept it. It's a joke now. It's not even worth my time to worry about what they're doing. The Ruin Johnson thing came out. I was like, whatever. We all knew that already. They just keep changing our stories. Whatever. They're trying to find something, and you're right. They must be years behind us because by the time they fix it, do you think they can get any people back?
No, because I don't know. Just pay attention to the kids, 15, 16, 17-year-olds, because they're the ones that drive pop culture after us. And look what they're into now. And then they're not into Star Wars unless their parents are into Star Wars. They're not into Star Trek.
They're into porn, coffee, and LPs. That's about it.
Yeah, basically, no. The kids are still into comics. They are, believe it or not. It's just the comics suck right now. And manga anime is ready to probably take over.
Yeah, and I know that they're going after manga and anime pretty hard right now. Specifically, in Australia, we have one of their senators or something like that is trying to get anime banned in Australia. It's pretty fucking crazy.
Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
Why get it banned?
Hey, my city. Banned vaping we're trying to ban. I don't know how it went, but yesterday they voted to ban pop-up shops. But you can steal anything under $900. I'm so glad I don't own my comics. Somebody can walk in my comic store and like grab $800.
I've seen video of that,
Yeah,
Gary, and I was
same
trying
here.
to tell my
dude.
dad about this, and he couldn't believe it. I'm like, no, Dad, you don't understand. People can walk in and steal as long as it's less than $900, they can't do anything to you.
That
So there's-
memeology video is from the Walgreens 1 block away from
Yep,
my
I
comic
seen
shop.
that.
1 block away
Could
from
they
my
come
comic
into
shop.
your home?
No,
Like,
no, but no.
But
just to let
businesses
you know,
cannot, they can't basically. Now, what was the motivation behind this, Gary? Because this is what we couldn't.
it was to basically lower the population in the jails.
Okay, I thought maybe it was because since you guys had such a problem with the homeless population.
No,
one
it actually
thing-
made it worse.
Well, I was going to say one
Yeah.
thing homeless people do is they'll tend to commit petty crimes just to get put in jail for a couple nights or whatever usually.
Yeah.
So I wondered if that was what they were trying to curtail.
Yeah, this was they were, and it's made it worse. I mean, they called it a Save Schools Act or something, and I mean, like California is so full of. I'm sorry. I mean, they'll vote. There was a time California would never vote like on a tax bill, like ever.
I bet you guys are really missing Arnie right about now, aren't you?
Oh God, I'm missing Arnie and Duke Majan, Randy Duke Majan. That guy was a great governor. But those are our last good governors.
Because like the last few chapters of Arnold's book are basically like, I mean, he doesn't say it specific, but it's like, you're better off without me now, don't you, dumb shits? You should have kept me in office. Yeah.
That's so crazy that they made it legal for people to go and dress in black block and steal a bunch of crap, from a store. And
you're going to create a vigilante. I
Yeah.
mean, for those you're going to get another masked person can go in and just stop them. I mean, because the cops can't.
I'm so confused over that. What
Well,
does
and you
the
were
person
saying,
do
like-
that got robbed?
what's the incentive of getting a job and going to work now? I mean, if I can just go in and steal $300 worth of food and not have to worry about it, then that's just so fucking crazy.
Right. So you could be on, and by the way, you could talk about anything on my channel. That's why it's a free for all. So you could be on state assistance. You can have state health care. You can rob up to $800 a day, like $900 a day, and
Or per
live
store.
like a king. Well, yeah, right. So tell me this: what do you do as a business owner? How do they, like, if someone
shop at this point.
Insurance. I mean,
well, that's what Tom walks in and steals it. Gary walks in and then
Or
steals it.
insurance, yeah.
We all do that.
I don't even know if
soon-
insurance will honor that.
No, they won't anymore. I mean, pretty soon what's going to happen is you won't be able to get business insurance and they'll just be gone. So
No, you were just saying the other night, or if it was last week or the other night, Gary, I can't remember, but that you had now all you do if somebody breaks into like your car, you just fill out a thing online.
online. Yep.
Like how the
What?
Four houses have been broken into in my neighborhood. The only reason my house doesn't get broken into is because I'm here, and my front door is upstairs. You have to climb stairs to get to my front door.
They're too
and-
lazy to walk up the stairs.
They would rather break in. I don't have a gate over my door. I'm the only one in my neighborhood that doesn't have a gate in my door, and I'm the only one who hasn't got broken into because they don't want to climb the stairs.
Well,
Plus,
not
I
only
have-
that, you
I have
can't
a
carry a
scary
lot of
sounding
stuff
dog.
downstairs. Yeah.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah. But
So
the
wait a
thing
minute.
is, I'm in a nice neighborhood too. I'm not in a shitty
Yeah,
neighborhood.
Is it a war zone now? Like, is it like turning complete? Like, how long have you been there now?
18 years.
18 years. So completely flipped, right?
It's not even the same place. No, we're leaving in a year, so we're out of here.
Thank God, man.
But
Thank
yeah,
God.
I mean, my house is still worth money. I'm getting the hell out of here. But yeah, it's crazy. It's going to turn into Detroit here. The
That's
tech
insane.
people have completely taken over. So like downtown is dead. It's just Twitter and freaking everybody else. You can go. I mean, the Patreon building is. I can go to Patreon.
You know
and
what's sad,
Twitter
and I'm not. I've dreamt of moving out there for my entire life, basically, and now it's like I'll go as far as Nevada and I'm good if I
Yeah.
even get there.
Vegas is good. I'd live in.
That's
Vegas.
about where I'm headed because it just every time I talk to you guys out there, it's like sounds worse and worse and worse.
Texas, man. Texas is the place.
Yep.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
everything-
but-
Isn't Texas turning blue too, though, now? And I
What's
don't
that?
mean that, like, isn't very liberal now in Texas?
yeah, I was gonna say
Parts can be.
moving that way.
Austin Austin has been very livable for a very long time. It's because it's a college town. We jokingly call it the People's Republic of Austin since like the 90s. But it depends. And they've been trying to flip the state blue for some time. And I don't see that happening. I know that Bloomberg's injecting a lot of money into the state to try and flip the Congress here, which that concerns me greatly because I'm very pro Second Amendment, and Bloomberg's been doing this shit to, try and get guns banned everywhere. Essentially, he's trying to flip all these states and erode the Second Amendment.
Yeah, I'm just looking at a tweet here.
Gary's on Twitter.
I'm on Twitter. Yeah.
Holy shit!
Who in the Fandom Menace is saying the EU is canon? Did anybody in the Fandom Menace say the EU is canon?
I can't imagine.
Not that I know of.
Oh, somebody's accusing us of saying it's canon.
No, I've
wish
said
it were canon.
Yeah, we wish it was canon. That's
Yeah,
right.
we wish.
It was
Stupid.
canon.
Hopeful, but not.
Wasn't there somebody going? There was somebody attacking people like Ryan, people like Lethal Lightning, that like people that read the EU are fake Star Wars fans. They're like posers. So I don't know if that's connected to that.
It probably
There's
is.
just
What? That's such bullshit.
Yeah,
That's why I don't get on Twitter. I just fired it up. I'm like, God damn.
This is why. This is why Gary's never on Twitter, people.
Well, I can't imagine what you guys go through. Like, and Mary, as a female in the Fandom Menace, someone like Anna, you have someone like Anna that just makes a joke to a friend and gets banned. What do you get sent to you?
I actually just the other day got my 6th dick pic in the last 5 or 6 months. So I'm actually
sorry about that.
Now I'm actually thinking about making a little collage and putting it
I was just asking you how it looked trimmed. That's all.
It's a thing.
That's what you literally get dick pics sent to your DM.
Oh, she probably knows what like half the
On
Fandom
Twitter?
Menace
On Twitter.
On Twitter.
Oh, gosh.
No, it's Twitter.
Lord.
Yeah.
No, I've never sent a dick pic to her, anybody else for that matter. So
I don't see the point. I think it's kind
or
of
at
dumb
least in
myself.
the Fandom Menace anyway.
I mean, they all seem very proud of themselves. So, I mean, unsolicited, but yeah, I just got I think it was either my 5th or my 6th one the other day. And I'm seriously considering.
The other ladies get these too, or is it just you that?
I don't know. I hope not. I hope nobody else has to go through that. But yeah, it's a thing.
That'd be funny if somebody sent her.
Why don't I get like tit pics?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I
I
haven't
don't know.
got a single one.
Let's put that out there now for Tom. Tom, the ladies out there, Tom needs some pictures. DM
Actually,
him.
I'm more of a
and report
booty,
back.
and I mean, boobs are nice, but
Oh yeah.
if I get to be
Booty's-
choosy,
No, of course.
Sorry, I flipped the conversation. You just asked, and I was like, I mean, this is my experience on Twitter. It is a cesspool. There's a lot of
Look,
good
Mary,
stuff.
don't worry about it. Ever since my technical difficulties, I've lost any like a semblance of what I was going to do. I like I told you behind the scene, I give you guys all credit that have these shows every week, multiple shows a week, live streaming all the time, making videos all the time. I don't think people realize how much you guys put into this. And I'm starting to really appreciate it because it's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
It's a
tell
pain
me
in the
about it.
ass.
I'm editing right now as we speak.
Dude, but there's the love that goes into it, right? So it's a passion.
I
It's
am.
a passion project, really.
Absolutely.
Yep.
It's
There's
therapy, actually,
definitely-
for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's definitely a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, like shooting videos is like pulling teeth for me because I would much rather engage with an audience over it and like sort of like there's a conversation happening, whereas just sort of screaming relentlessly at my camera feels sort of pointless at times. But then you get the video up. But yeah, it's the videos are my least favorite aspect of it.
I found it now that I've been using the camera. It's a lot easier to go and edit because I'm not doing what I was doing before. But holy fuck, I have way more takes now than I did before.
Yeah,
and that's what's eating up my time is the actual act of recording myself because I'll get halfway through my monologue and I'll fuck something up and I'll have to start over because I don't want to necessarily do jump cuts all the time.
Yeah. I tend to shoot from the hip, so
Same here.
Yeah,
How long does it take you guys to make a video?
depends on the video.
Let's see. Last
Takes
night
me about 4 days to write a script.
Yeah, it depends if you script it. If it's scripted, it's longer. But last night I started roughly around 10:30, and I finished up, I would say, about 1:30.
Yeah, I started my Doctor Who review after I finished the Inquisition Sunday night, and it came out yesterday at 1:30. And I was working on it like constantly. I didn't leave my room. I think I slept 4 hours a night. And so that was like 20 hours worth of work. And then I'll do a couple low tier ones tonight that'll take me an hour each. It just depends. Like the reviews are like my Star Wars review took me 4 days.
Yeah, the reviews are really, really difficult to do because
screen
there's
grabs,
so
footage.
much. Yeah, screen grabs, rewatching it, commentating,
and it
like
helps to listen to interviews. Like even if I don't put the audio clip in, I'll listen to JJ talk for about a half hour, Ryan Johnson talk for a half hour to kind of see where they're coming from.
Yeah,
it's pretty obvious, really, but you know,
like my Star Trek reviews, man, that takes roughly 4 days to do.
Oh, there's so much stupid crap in Star Trek. My God, it is the dumbest show. Script Doctor, you saw last night's episode?
No, not yet. It airs in Canada tonight in about an hour. I have 20 minutes of footage for my episode 6 review because there's so much done with that, and I hear things about tonight's upcoming episode that
plug
is
your ears for a second, Bill.
I was really busy today, so I haven't watched it yet. So
plug your ears for a second, Bill, in Comix Division. I laughed so fucking hard when Riker said data and DNA in the same sentence.
Oh my God.
when he figured everything out, when he's all, don't tell me.
Yep.
She's an android. She's Data's daughter because she cocks her head. I was like, oh my God, this is actually, he acted that.
Does he make out with that daughter too?
Oh no, it's so much worse. It's a dinner party. You're gonna watch a TV show of a dinner party, and everything is focused on the girl who's the key to everything. She's
hold on with that thought 1 second, Mary. I know you have to get going, so I just want to really thank you for jumping in. Plug your channel to all my amazing fans.
Well, if it's
most likely are sub to you too.
If it's okay, rather than plugging my channel, what I would like to do is just congratulate you on hitting 500 subscribers. I know that's a really big milestone, and you've got to be so proud of yourself. And I'm certainly proud to see how much growing you've done and how much you've contributed to the community. And I'm just really, really excited for you, man. Very happy.
I'm not very good at taking compliments, but thank you very much. Hard work.
I'll tell you what I will plug is this Saturday on my channel, you'll be able to catch Mr. Sporking News podcast hanging out with me doing shenanigans on my weekly show. And so if you can't get enough of Spork, come see him then over on my channel.
Thank you, Mary.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, guys.
Mary.
Thanks so much for having me. Gary, as always, a pleasure. Tom, I love your face. You guys are amazing. Script Doctor.
Don't lie to me. It's
comics. You know I love you, Tom. Thanks for
it's a face for radio.
I love that dick pic, man. I'll cherish it forever. Comics, you're awesome, man. Love your face. You guys are great.
You too. Take care, Mary. See you.
Bye, Mary.
Bye-bye, Mary.
Tom had to Photoshop 2 pictures together to get it all.
Shut up.
That's why she liked it. Hey, listen, I had 500 subs in November of 2017. I had 500 subs. I was covering Star Trek Discovery, the first season, and it bumped me up from 100 subs to like 700 by close to the end of the year. Then I hit 1,000 subs at the end of the year. I was so goddamn excited.
Right.
I ran down to YouTube and I shot a video in front of YouTube.
Is that on your channel still?
Yeah, it's on my channel. Yeah, I got no beard and everything. I'm standing in front of the YouTube building. So it can happen fast. You're doing good. You're growing faster than I did.
I mean, I wanted to hit my goal was like 500 in 6 months, 1,000 at least. You know, I want that's been my multiple goal. Like if I can hit 1,000, I don't know if I'll ever get bigger than that, but I wanted to do that in a year. So 500 in 6 months. It took like 6 months and 2 weeks, but I made it. So I don't know. I just try to be myself. Like I listened to all your guys' advice, and you don't realize it, but a lot of the times, like in your private ones, Gary and Drunk has given me a lot of advice. Tom, you all have, and just watching how you guys do.
Thank you.
You can wind up like Jay or Comix Division or Nerdrotic and really do well, or you can end up like me with a dick in your mouth and
I wouldn't say I'm doing well.
needle in your arm and a gutter every other night. But...
that was the old me. But now I'm trying to. No, don't worry. I'm just playing with you. But now, like, it's one of those things where I do want to make quality. I don't know, like, when you guys started doing, when did you feel like you finally started getting the hang of it, if ever?
I don't know. I don't feel like I've got the hang of it yet.
I agree, man. I'm still evolving.
Yeah. I think I know what works to keep things going. The growing thing, the thing you got to realize is there will be ups and downs, and it makes no sense, but it's YouTube's change of the algorithm. They do it every 4 months for advertising, which means like people have to relearn to find your channel who are outside your subscribers. And most of your views will come from outside of your subscribers. They will come from the recommended, depending on the topic and everything. And the only advice I have is like, talk about what you care about.
Right.
Because the audience is really smart. I'm not pandering or kissing ass. It's true. When others like that person criticize, I went off on a rant on this. Tom and I were talking about this too on my last live stream. When others go after individual channels and they start calling them idiots or whatever, the thing is they share subs with us. So when that person calls me an idiot, they're calling their viewer an idiot who might also sub to my channel. And then they wonder why doesn't my channel grow? It seems like I'm getting a lot of attention in live streams. It's because the live stream audience and the video audience are completely separate audiences, and they can give you a false positive. And so keep your eye on the prize. The only unsolicited advice I can give is keep growing, keep chugging, and don't worry about what other people say, and don't really take your comment section to heart. Either way.
Really?
Yeah.
The best thing to do to avoid all that stuff that he's talking about there is just don't start YouTube beef, or if anything, don't respond to any.
Yeah, that's
Silence
kind of the big thing.
Gary, where were you in a year?
A year ago today?
No, I mean a year when you started.
Oh.
Like how many subs did you have?
My first year I had like 150 because I wasn't trying. I was just mirroring from my podcast.
Oh,
so I had like 150 subs, and then and it stayed there for a long time because I've been doing this for 7 years.
I found Gary when I was surprised when I found out he only had like 5,000 subs.
Yeah, and that wasn't that long ago. That was
what did you have what did you have right at after your first review of season 8? Like the first episode, where were you in? Because that's when I jumped in. Because you were under like 50, right?
Yeah. I was at like 40,000 subs because of Doctor Who. Doctor Who was what blew me up, and then and Game of Thrones was an accident, man. Doomcock and I were talking about I cover TV live. That's what I do, and I'm like, yeah, you want to cover Game of Thrones? It'll probably be okay. We'll get some battles, and it'll probably be dumb like season 7, but at least we'll get some good battles. And we almost didn't. And the first 2 episodes were like, the biggest difference is the first episode I think we had 1,000 people watching our live stream. And by the 3rd episode, we had 24,000 people watching our live stream.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah. People were pissed.
Yeah, people were pissed. That's the reason I started my YouTube channel was because of that. Like, and then what's happening to Star Wars and things like that. It's just one of those. This has become, and for people like, well, I'll speak for myself. I can only do that. So for me, this has become an outlet, but it's also become like a community where people in your real world that aren't into the stuff you're into. Friends and family don't understand why I want to punch the TV when something stupid happened on Game of Thrones or Star Wars sucks. But at least you people understand that. The anger.
Yes.
What do you mean, you people?
Oh, you know what I mean by that. Bald and sexy. But yeah, like I do have to say, you're right about plugging along. Do what you love. I love Game of Thrones, but there's really not much going on with that. I try to keep up on that, though. I can tell you, Gary, when you search Winds of Winter, I'm like the 6th one, even if you're not one of my subs. So I'm moving up there, buddy. I'm moving up there, everybody.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, if you do what I do, I go to Georgia's Not a Blog every day. Yep. I search Winds of Winter news every day. The Independent has an article every day,
the Express,
updating the release date, saying it's coming out this year, and then tomorrow it'll say it's delayed for a year, and then the day after that it'll say it's coming out this year. I think it's coming out this year.
I do too. By November, I would think, or December. But
yeah, I think July he announces the book is done. I think people misinterpreted what he said, and when he goes to that con in New Zealand, he's going to announce that he's done. But he'll let you know, because I went back and checked, and when he finished Dance of the Dragon, it was March. So at March, he started going, okay, I'm close, but I'm not done, but I'm close. I got another chapter to write. And then it was April. It was at the end of April, right after Game of Thrones season 1 aired. He's all, I'm done. And you'll see a big picture of King Kong dead at the bottom of the Empire State Building.
Oh my God! Now, do you think we're going to get the final book?
No, I don't think so.
Damn it, man.
Unless he's writing it concurrently, which that might be the cause of the delay.
Right. Well, also the changing. I think he's changing a few things personally. Maybe not. I mean, after what they did to that final 2 seasons, he has to adjust.
I think he is. And also, I think the current political climate caused him to. I think that's the biggest reason for the delay is identity politics.
Was he trying to
weather
the storm? Was he trying to weather?
For example, the Mercy chapter, in the first few lines of the Mercy chapter, it's got Arya saying, "I'm going to be late for my own rape."
Yeah,
and what? You can't put that. You can't put that in a book right now.
Wow.
See, I hope he keeps it in because it's such a good chapter.
It is a great chapter.
Oh, it's amazing. And even though I don't know him, I give shout out to Preston Jacobs because he breaks those down like multiple videos. I don't know the guy personally, but those are great videos. But all right, so what I wanted to do next, I was wondering what you guys are feeling about this new Batman. So we got some new images out. My doppelganger Stephen is going to put up the car. I don't know if you guys you guys probably all saw it.
A Dodge Charger.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was.
So what that was?
I thought it was like a Hellcat. It's a Challenger. Yeah, it's a Hellcat. That's a Hellcat, which is a freaking awesome car. My God, the Hellcats are awesome.
It's gorgeous. I mean, personally, but does this give it away? I mean, is it year 2, year 1, something like that?
I thought they said it was year 1, right?
Year 2, I heard, but
year 2.
Yeah, I heard year 2. What year it is? It's just.
Yeah, it'd have to be year 2. If it was year 1, there's no villains. It's
just the mob.
Yeah, it's just the mob, and I that's the last thing I want to see. To be honest with you, I'm so tired of Origin Batman. Yeah, it looks pretty good, but I want Batman like 10 years, in his functional bath cave with Alfred and Robin.
Get that. You want Sparkle Boy
gallery of I know I'll never get real Batman. Like nobody's seen
real Sparkle
Batman.
Boy anyway.
No. So you don't think he's going to do a good job, Tom?
No, I just think there's a reason why they hired him, because he looks young. He's going to be young for a while. I seen him in that outfit next to the car. The car looks great. He looks like shit.
Yeah, right. I don't like that bat suit at all.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of
He's wearing fucking hockey pads.
The Bat DeLorean.
The Bat Darts.
Sorry, I need to talk over their script doctor.
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are wearing hockey pads.
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Yes, you are. Those are fucking hockey pads, Batman. I'm sorry to say this.
Pray to me.
Did Dodge sponsor the movie? Maybe. You got Dodge sponsor Dodge.
God, yes.
Dodge, I brought that up too. Yeah,
that movie. Yes, they. Keep in mind, folks. Matt Reeves is Bad Robot.
Yep,
through and through. Okay, the Lord of the Rings you brought up earlier. It's having a bunch of problems right now. Josiah did a great video on that. I did a little more digging, and bad robot people, chaos everywhere they go. They just, genre won't even be a thing in Hollywood in a few years, the way things are going.
I think you're right, man, because it seems like everything J.J. Abrams touches, or at least him and his company, turns to shit.
Yep. and he's got a lot of power.
There's actually a
make their
very
own
much of a
stories.
pro anti-superhero sentiment in Hollywood right now because studios don't want to have to spend that much money to make a movie that's going to bring in a whole lot of money. So the
You don't
Joker
have
was
to
a
do that
happy
with
accident.
Batman. You don't have to do that with Batman. You can
That's
make it
true.
very street level, and you don't have to have a bunch of special effects. You can make it very practical, and you can have it like Arkham Asylum, and that's the way it should be. It should be a detective story with Batman. But no, we keep getting.
Well, Batman
trash.
should be television series, small screen stuff. All the superheroes should be, and they should be miniseries. They should be no more than 12 episodes.
I agree.
I remember Gary and I having a conversation probably close to 2 years ago now where we were like, all we really want is Batman the animated series just done in live action, just make it a little bit more grown up.
Yep. You would make all the money. It would be the most popular
That's
show
what we
in the
said.
world.
It would be the most
pitched it
popular
already.
show in the world. Yeah.
They won't spend it now. Not now.
I think they're
No,
too
you're right. You're
overprotective
right.
of
It's
Batman.
good, Doctor.
That's the problem.
I've told this story before, but Bruce Campbell was just here last year doing a Q&A after Evil Dead 2. It was fucking awesome. And that's one of the first things he brought up because they asked him if he'd ever be in a superhero movie. And he said, hell no. And he's all, let me tell you that as soon as the producers find a way out of those things, what you just said, they will do it. They will run.
Yep.
These things require so much money up front. And, Hollywood doesn't spend their own money, as you know. They go out and find investors who would love to see their names in the credit of a movie.
Well, that's the rules. Yeah, never spend your own money on a movie.
Yep.
Oh yes, a lot of studios even do bank loans on things. Like, do you think Disney actually owns Lucasfilm? They don't. It's a bank that several banks own part of it through Disney. But yeah, about 6 years ago, just after Arrow was out there, I had the fortunate opportunity of pitching a bunch of shows. And I pitched a Batman, a Flash, a Superman, a Wonder Woman, and a Wildcat show. And they all got me into nice meetings and stuff, but they all said oh, we don't think superheroes are going to work well on TV. And I was like, well, first season of Arrow is kind of doing really well. Maybe we should see how that plays out. And apparently it was a huge hit. And then Berlanti just started pitching his own stuff, and they're like, we're just going to go with him. We're not going to split the properties around with different production houses and stuff. We're going to make this own one universe. And so I was like, oh crap, great. And then they were announcing doing the DC Universe streaming service, and then I begged to get a show off the ground that I had pitched, which was basically a buddy cop show between Alfred and Thomas Wayne, establishing that relationship, why they're friends, why this stranger from Britain who's a butler would dedicate his life to a young Bruce Wayne and all that stuff. Make the parents' death of Bruce Wayne's parents' death actually mean something, because we see it so many times it's kind of desensitized to. But if we actually knew who these two characters were, you'd probably actually feel something again. Yeah. And that was my take on it. And then Bruno Heller decided to pitch his lazy Pennyworth show at the same time, and he had more of a name than I did, so he got that, and nobody watched it. So we'll see what happens.
Is that off the air already? I thought it hasn't even started.
Pennyworth, I thought I just heard it got renewed, but I could be wrong.
I didn't realize it started.
It's a very small show, but it's so Gotham-y, and it's predictable. It's the cast is actually quite good. The guy that they got to play Alfred is great. Does a great Michael Caine. But it's just cliched, dark. Everything's all way too twisted and gruesome. And Alfred is essentially just Batman without the costume. He has all of Batman's skills and knowledge and stuff. He was trained by the SAS, which, don't get me wrong, those guys in England are very good at what they do, but they're not great. I mean, when they started out, they made a lot of mistakes, and they were kind of a joke for about 40 years. and now they're only pretty good. So, I mean,
oh, I'm sorry. Keep going, man.
No, that's all I got. I
was going to say, I mean, with this movie, this is my dilemma. You look at the cast, and it's a great cast. I mean, you have Sparkly as Batman, but they have a lot of big hitters in other roles. Do you think he's going to go that bad robot SJW agenda politics route, or is he going to make the noir film we keep hearing about?
Well, that's a good question, man. You can take a look at the casting and maybe take a guess. Hopefully it'll be good.
The noir genre is subject to SJW-isms because you have the femme fatale that kind of manipulates all the pieces on the board, and that would be through Catwoman.
Yes.
Who I can't wait to see.
Don't get me wrong, Zoe Kravitz and the images that have been released of her in the costume, At least some like the close-up ones with the mask look amazing.
Yeah, that was good.
So
it does. I don't know about anybody else, but I don't feel that excitement for anything anymore. Almost, it's like
neither do
everything
I'm not excited either.
you're numb.
I don't know what can make me like if the book comes out from George Martin. I think that's the only thing I'm looking forward to, and even that I'm worried about. But like anything that comes out now, like until I actually view it, I am not excited. Like because maybe I don't know. I've been hurt too much. I don't know. I got to take a minute.
No, that's if that came out this year, that would make my year. I would probably dedicate my channel to it. I'll be doing reviews on chapters and everything. So
that's my plan. That's what I was planning on doing too. And I'm just hoping it's worthy of what he's written before, you know. And now you have this iconic character that's been played in the 90s where he got played out. Then you have, Bale comes in and Nolan, and they reinvigorate it, bring it more to a realistic Batman. And then you have
James Bond Batman, I call it.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have, a Batfleck that the stories weren't that great. Sorry for, your Schneider guys, but I liked him as Batman. He had that.
Same here.
Yeah, he had that. Like, he's been through shit, and he was going through shit when he made those films. So he probably just fed off of that. And then they bring in Sparkly, and like, what do I get excited over that? I don't think so. I wish they went with a no-name person if they were going to go with this route.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been a smarter choice. Number one, you get lowered. You don't have to pay the actor as much. You are able to make an identity around that character for the role and stabilize it. As much as a lot of people like the Nolan trilogy, I thought it was okay for Batman. I think Bale should have played Two-Face instead of Batman. He's very much of a duelist type of actor. He's not versatile enough to play the various angles that Bruce Wayne is, because Bruce Wayne cannot behave like Batman around Alfred. So that's the core character. And then you have the Batman character that he does on the streets, which is an exaggeration of the pain and trauma he's gone through. And then you got the Playboy character, which is just a distraction. But if you can't find an actor or especially a storyteller that understands those three dynamics and which one is the actual core, then you're going to end up having a fairly derivative, although entertaining in the action area of a Batman story.
Wow.
Well said.
Yeah, that was really well said, man.
It was.
This is why we need to rally the world to get me to write Batman, so that you guys will all really be entertained and enjoyed with my take on this character.
We'll start the campaign, my friend. We'll start the campaign. So are you guys, any of you, looking forward to Dune?
Yes.
Yeah, it might be.
I'm not gonna say I'm on the
because
fence.
I have the script and I read it and I liked it. So
okay. Well, if you got the script and you read it and you liked it, then
Yeah,
maybe
I know at least
about
3
it.
people now who've read it. So yeah.
I feel left out. Tom,
I'll send it to you if you want.
Yeah, please do. Tom, you guys have been reviewing it on Midnight's Edge. What do you think about the director, the direction he's going? I know he's wants to stick with the book, but what type of director is he?
I think that I'm not worried about the movie itself. The only thing a lot of people are honing in on is the race and gender swap of a specific character, where from what I've been hearing from most people who've read it, it makes complete sense within the context of the story, especially considering we're going to get a sisterhood television show to go along with the movie. What I'm worried about for it is that it will be good, but nobody will go see it, because we kind of had the same problem with Blade Runner 2049, which would have been the director's last big movie, if I remember right, or did he have a movie between that and this? I can't remember now.
I can't remember either.
I don't think
saw
he had
49 in theaters.
I think that was his last movie, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Denis Villeneuve, or however you say his name.
Denis Villeneuve.
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 I barely knew him.
I barely knew you. Yes, that's good.
But yeah, from what I've been hearing, I mean, the thing is I know Gary didn't like Blade Runner 2049.
Nope.
I thought it was okay, but I like Blade Runner, but I was never like that diehard into it. It's a movie I've seen maybe 5 times in the last 20 years at the most.
You can watch it in little sequences and enjoy it, but as a whole, it's kind of off.
I like it.
I enjoyed it for what it was worth, but I didn't think it was all that great of a follow-up to Blade Runner, though. I think Blade Runner was fine as a standalone movie. That's the issue that we're running into with Hollywood these days, is they want to make everything a reboot or a soft reboot or a prequel or a sequel. It's like we don't get movies that were just standalone anymore, and I'm perfectly fine with that.
Or sequel adjacent, as I call them, sequel adjacent.
Right. What they should have done in this instance is maybe, and I hate to say it, maybe rebooted it. And in the sense of, and don't do it as a movie. Don't do it as a movie though, but do it as a TV show. It would have worked better as like a film noir kind of, like Netflix kind of
like when Total Recall had a TV show.
I don't remember that, and that's probably a good thing. But that's because that's an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie, and Blade Runner isn't necessarily a Harrison Ford movie, though. That's the difference. I mean, I get where your gut reaction is to say no, you can't touch Blade Runner. But usually
I'm tired
the reason
of reboots, man.
No, I get you. But here's the problem: Blade Runner is one of those properties, like some other ones, that aren't necessarily untouchable and had so much more potential that went to waste. Like The Last Starfighter is another one I can think of.
The other thing too is that it's an adaptation of a book, man. It's a Phil K. Dick book. It doesn't need a sequel unless he has another book that they want to go and adapt.
And I agree.
I'm fine with adapting books, but my problem is. There's very few movies I've seen that I think deserve a reboot. That is an actual movie, not an adaptation of something. I have certain rules when it comes to rebooting movies. Like if it's a comic book or if it's based off a book, I don't have an issue with that. That's fine. But if it's a movie that was made and somebody wants to do a reboot, like RoboCop, I love the original RoboCop. Is the perfect mixture of
satire.
80s satire, camp, and violence. It's a great movie. And then you had the reboot that came along, and it's like, man, it just didn't have that pizzazz that the original one had. I mean, there's that that moment in time of the cultural zeitgeist where that movie works, and that reboot didn't work. And it's the same thing with Total Recall. It's like, you got the special effects in there. They're fucking amazing, but you're wasting this on a reboot of another movie that was based off of a book. Yeah.
Well, now
my rule for reboots is if it's a bad movie, reboot it. If it's a good movie, leave it the hell alone.
Exactly.
Well, there is that aspect of it, but my point was this: the first one wasn't that big of a hit. If it really wasn't a hit at all, so I don't know why they thought a sequel was a good idea in the first place. Because you're trying to sequelize a movie that nobody really went to see and only geeks love, and those geeks that love it don't really want a sequel or want you to mess with it anyway, or at least the ones that did want it didn't go to see it because it didn't make enough money. And that was kind of my point I was getting to originally is I don't think that this movie is going to make enough money to warrant a sequel, and it's only half of the first book. I mean, the guy has a vision. I mean, whether you liked Blade Runner 2049 or not, it looked good.
Yeah, the cinematography it looked fantastic. Yeah.
Like if the execution is as tight as the script, I think it will bring in a good audience through word of mouth. But if Denis Villeneuve kind of milks it like he did with Blade Runner 2049, it will avert people from wanting to watch it again or talking about it, because he spent a lot of time on visuals and vistas in that film, and the pacing just felt weird. Which is why I say, like, you can separate into individual clips and watch it and enjoy those clips on their own, but on the whole, it's just a really drawn out story that doesn't really. I couldn't understand why it had to be related to the prequel.
I agree.
Sorry, the original. I just couldn't understand why they had to bring it in that.
I completely agree with you. I'm fine with the idea of doing another story that takes place in that world.
Well, that's kind of what I was getting at. Is it was a situation where I get it. There's a lot of people who hold Blade Runner dear to their heart, but Blade Runner's not Indiana Jones.
Well, yeah,
that's my point. Harrison Ford is Indiana Jones. Like,
no, I agree.
You're going to have a hard time. Same thing with Ghostbusters. That's why it didn't fucking work, because Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and all those guys are Ghostbusters. And unless they're handing the torch off to somebody, we don't give a shit. You know, I mean, that's the thing.
Doing something that takes place in the same world, I don't have an issue with, because that's something you can go and explore. But
that's what I was saying, is it would work better as a low-level series instead of trying to do this big-budget blockbuster movie, which Blade Runner isn't. Let's face it. I mean, and Gary was there when it first came out. Nobody really went to see it when it first came out, did it?
Nope. No, I was in an empty theater.
I was really young when it came out, but my mom actually saw it in the theater, and she
you have
really
the same
enjoyed
problem with Dune. Dune, and that's my question: is does Dune even have the size of a fan base as Blade Runner?
No.
No.
Not at all. I mean,
Even the sci-fi series, I mean, it did okay, but it was not a huge hit.
They got to make it fun. That's the key with Dune. Is I think the perception of normies on Dune is it's like this bleak looking sci-fi thing.
It's a low concept sci-fi thing. That's
Well, and you got guys like Rob who find it very fucking boring. Like he tried reading the book, and it's like nothing happens for 100 pages, then finally somebody dies.
Yeah, but Isaac Asimov's Foundation series starts off like that too. But once you get past it, it's a great read. So
and he's like, all he could get out of it was drugs are good.
That's funny. I actually like the sci-fi version that they did for Dune, the TV series. I thought
did
that was
too.
Yeah, it was the Children of Dune one that was kind of weird.
Fun. They made it fun. So, and that was probably the TV aspect of it. I mean, it wasn't like a romp or anything like that, but it took itself seriously, and it wasn't, I don't know. It just, I mean, I like the David Lynch movie for what it was, a David Lynch movie.
I like to look at it. Yeah.
Oh man, watch that movie.
Be grateful we didn't get Jaworski's Dune. That would have been a head trip.
It is excellent on acid.
I will suggest to anybody who's. What were you saying?
No, all I was saying is I could verify that one with Nerdrotic. It's definitely one of those like the wall type things.
Yeah. Oh, I love the wall, but no, the Dune thing. If you get a chance to, I suggest seeing the fan re-edit where they cut all the deleted scenes back in and all that kind of shit. It makes a hell of a lot more sense because I've seen both versions, and the theatrical version is a very tough watch. But if you watch that extended cut, there's so much that's cut back in that helps explain shit, so you kind of know more about what the fuck's going on.
I mean, in the theatrical one, you don't even realize why they moved to the new planet, really.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like that extended cut is like 3 hours long.
Right. I mean, I actually, as a kid, I enjoyed Dune and liked it even more in college. We'll just put it that way.
But I will say it redeems the movie quite a bit, is my point. Like for those who like, even if you've never seen it, Gary, I'll see if I can get it to you. It actually, it's a much improved version. Andre gave it to me actually.
If you ever had the chance, I'd love to see that too. So,
I'll see what I can do.
Drunk, what do you take with? They've been talking also about rebooting. Something as dear to me as Back to the Future.
It'll never happen.
Never happen. Not in our lifetime, hopefully.
I get that, but even thinking about it kills me. I mean, they remade Karate Kid. I wasn't expecting that. That to me in the 80s was a perfect trilogy, but that's because I
don't know how that happened other than Will Smith is the only reason I think that movie happened.
Did you say my name? Because
I was just trying to bring you in, man. I miss your voice.
Everyone's talking. I'm good. I'm listening. I'm learning. I don't know nothing of listen. I have no interest in watching Dune. I have no interest. I read the books.
You did.
I'm afraid that everything's going to get ruined.
I agree.
I have no interest in Batman. I'm not a Batman fan. Yeah, kill me now, but I have no interest in Batman.
I will tell you this, Jay, and I think Script Doctor can probably back me up. If you're a fan of the books, you will probably be pleased with this movie.
You know what I've been doing? I've been waiting. So like the Picard series, I was like, let me just see what everyone says. And now I saved myself plenty of hours while I'm working on something else. And everything else is like, I appreciate all you guys and your reviews. And this is what I don't get. Like people, I know people give you guys crap all the time. Like, why are you watching this? If you hate it, why do you watch it? You're watching it because I don't have to watch it. And trust me, if it's for anybody, it's for me. Because that means I didn't watch any Star Trek Discovery because of y'all's reviews. And thank you for that. And actually, I'm not really a Star Trek person. I just started Next Generation.
Next Generation is fantastic, man.
So, yeah, that's pretty cool. And, just kind of working. I just finished Space Seed, so I'm supposed to watch the Wrath of Khan coming up. So I guess they tie into each other.
They do.
So I never was a Star Trek dude. I did see the movies, like the old, like the Next Generation movies. I watched them. They were entertaining for what it's worth. And then, but yeah, all these series and shows coming out, I'm just sitting there like, I'm just going to let you guys watch them first. If you say, hey, it's good, then maybe I'll put some time into it. But, I'm a full-time teacher. I'm trying to keep the channel going. I got other stuff going. It's like I'm not gonna waste my time on TV shows that suck, and that's just gonna make me depressed.
I'll be honest with you, Drunk. Watching Picard is like slamming your balls in the drawer and then punching yourself in the face.
Yeah,
it's
I'm glad
self-abuse.
That's why I'm like, I'm not wasting.
It's a learning experience.
I'm not gonna
sometimes you can learn from
on
other people's mistakes, and Picard is a great example of that, especially if you want to become a writer.
Yeah, for sure.
The way I look at it is if you're liking Next Generation, which I watched, I'm doing the same thing, Drunk, trying to. It's like you said, time in the day, trying to find time to watch these things. But the Orville, I really, Orville Nation, who's in the chat, and Gary got me to try it out. Just them talking about it, and I really. I think that is like the missing link in Star Trek. Like it should have been, not Discovery, but it should have been the Orville that came out. Something to that effect. A part of the narration you never seen before. That fun. It's more fun than TNG, but it also has heart. And that's what. A lot of things are missing. Everything wants to either be really dark or really political or have their agenda and forget about the heart, as George Martin always refers to, the heart and conflict, or the relationship between, people in the show and not trying to push them apart, but bring them together. Something positive like the Orville, I would give it a chance.
Like having role models.
Yeah, role models. That's true. But the other thing too that most people forget is they always say, "Oh, Star Trek's political." It's like, no, it's social commentary. There is a difference between politics, identity politics, and social commentary. And even the ones that were really steeped in it wasn't that bad. It still took a neutral position. And the one, blanking on the title, I think it's like, "Let This Be Your Last Battleground." Somebody correct me.
Frank Gorshin?
What's that?
Is that the one with Frank Gorshin and the blackface, whiteface?
Yes, exactly. I mean, the funny thing about it, people always point to that saying it's so on the nose, and blah, blah, blah. It's like I went back and rewatched it like a couple weeks ago, and I was like, you know what? I see what it's like. Yes, they're definitely talking about racism, but the thing that you could definitely take away from it now is it's talking about identity politics and how both sides are going to destroy each other because they just hate so much rather than going and trying to find a compromise and a solution and not just fucking hate on the other side. So it's very indicative of the culture war now. I thought that was pretty interesting. Mm-hmm. So that episode to me is still pretty timeless.
Okay.
Absolutely. And one thing that I can say that the Orville does is they take the humor, because Star Trek, the original series, did have some humorous points to it, some charming elements. And the Orville goes like maybe 2-3 steps towards that. And it does it with a jovial attitude. And then you have something like Star Trek Picard and Star Trek Discovery, which basically has what I call the adolescent angst, which everything has to be dark and grim and real because they're insecure and they want to prove that they can handle it.
That's the DC effect.
Yeah. And which is strange because DC in the comics thing, like Batman was only the one that was kind of really grim. The rest of them were kind of cheery and a little bit more hopeful, like inspirational. Like Superman and Green Lantern was like great examples of that. Green Arrow during the 70s had its political commentary, and also its dark stuff. But that road trip with him and Hal Jordan was fun to read. I love that series. A lot of people do. And then even when they got like.
I'm sorry, Script Doctor. I didn't mean to cut you.
No, go right ahead. Absolutely.
I think what we're seeing though, when it comes to television shows and movies, is as long as we're paying for streaming service, they'll just put whatever crap we want, whatever crap they want out to consume. That's just how it is.
I agree, because at that point they're not necessarily beholden to the ratings, and I've seen a lot of the more political and SJW stuff on streaming services. It seems like CBS is really bad, and I don't know much about what they have on Netflix these days. I don't watch a lot of Netflix shows, but it seems like it's also there as well.
Oh, just watched Sabrina the Teenage.
Oh, that's right. Sabrina is terrible.
Oh my God, that was rough. That was rough. My wife was starting to watch it, and I was like, okay, let's see how this is. And it just, it throws it in your face. The girl, her main point in the world is to destroy the patriarchy. That's what it is. The men of the demon church or the Church of Satan are just trying to oppress women, and she's trying to save them. It's
Damn it, they figured us out.
They did. So we have.
But I'm going to tell you this much, and this is my prophecy for mainstream movies. I think with the virus that we're not allowed to name on YouTube that's going around, is now that they pushed 007 back, we might see a trend happening. And I'm hoping, maybe not hoping, but I have this suspicion from my sources, because my sources is better than your sources, and that source is better than this one. And my cousin, who has a source,
is your source in Los Angeles.
Someone's gonna pull a trigger. So one of these people are gonna pull a trigger and offer pay-per-view instead of just going to the theater, because everyone's got home theater systems now, and people are starting to not like going. Like, people just don't like going to the movies anymore. Someone's gonna pull the trigger and just offer like mainstream movie like $99 on a pay-per-view, where you can watch a movie.
This is already something that's been in talks for a while, but
I'm just telling you, it's going to happen. And
it is a very good possibility. I can't remember the name of it, but there was a system they were talking about, but there wasn't enough of the studios behind it yet.
They were going to Transformers, the first Transformers movie.
Yeah,
they were going to do it.
Because the problem you have is the theater owners.
I think this thing is gonna force some of their hand. Because if they are going to lose a lot of international,
here's the thing, you're going under the assumption that they pushed back James Bond because of the virus, right?
Well, that's what they say.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Nah.
Now read that.
That's the excuse they're using.
I'm gonna tell you, we got a video that's hopefully coming out tonight, but I don't think, because I'm editing it right now. They didn't delay that movie because of the fucking virus.
Really?
No. No, it's a beautiful surprise that helped out a very troubled film.
So it's one of those excuses they can use, and no one could really approach that and say, "Oh, they can't say anything to."
Plus, their tweet is ambiguous enough to where they can say, "Well, we never said it was because of the virus."
Oh, see, I didn't read the tweet. I saw that you guys had something about it, but I didn't read.
Oh yeah, it's gonna blow up here. We got a report on it. I'll read you the tweet here. I got it right in front of me.
Please do.
Because I'm working on the deal right now.
That was kind of something I was going to bring up. If you think this,
the tweet says, MGM, Universal, and Bond producers Michael G. Wilson and Barbara Broccoli announced today that after careful consideration and through evaluation of the global theatrical marketplace, the release of No Time to Die will be postponed until November 2020. At no place in there do they say anything about because of the virus.
Not at all. So
no.
So who did they? Which Access Media did they slip that to bring it up?
No, it was on Twitter, so everybody's taking it.
No,
can I say something?
Yeah, please do.
I feel like there's going to be some more truth to that, because living next to Orlando, the word is coming out with cast members and stuff that they're preparing for a major shutdown.
Yes, that is true.
Of all the theme park, Disney cannot afford to shut that park down. So if you look right now, like everything that we're getting now, you could look on Twitter, you could look everywhere. They're saying a report came out today that Florida has the cleanest air of all states. Number one, I'm not kidding. 3 hours later, actually, it's in. Gary might have seen it. It's in one of the Geeks and Gamers chats. But another one was coming out that just said, "Yeah, listen, Disney has taken the highest precautions and nothing's going to happen." And they're dropping these every 3 hours because people are not going to theme parks. Like it's not. They're starting.
Here's the thing, though, is even
we've had people in Orlando, we've had people in Tampa that have been, diagnosed, and so now people are starting to freak out, and so they cannot. I'm telling you, they cannot. If they shut down that big thing in Orlando, they're going to have to work out something with the government where they don't have to pay their employees. That's going to cause a massive ripple effect throughout the state of Florida, through people's job. I mean, it's. Even if they that's happening because they feel that pinch during hurricane. Listen, Disney doesn't shut down for hurricanes. They shut down for like 3 hours. And then once they reopen, they send emails, text messages, promotional texts, everything saying, come back to the parks. They pay their employees doubles to show up. And I usually go because it's usually super, super empty. But everybody's it's all there, and they advertise saying, listen, if you got no power, we got power here. You got no this, we got food here. You got no this, we got there. And so they don't shut down only until the state of Florida says you got to shut down because we don't want someone there. And then that's when they shut down. They wait to the last second. So people are there like right at the cusp of the storm. It's crazy because Disney tells them like, look, if we shut down, there's going to be huge ramifications throughout the whole state. That's why there's no state tax here. That's why there's a lot of benefit for living in Florida as far as taxing. Rent's really cheap here, everything, because Disney actually pumps in billions of dollars in the state of Florida.
How many people do they employ, you think, just on average?
How many employees?
Well, like, what do you think the average is? I mean, there must be a lot of people that work for Disney in the state of Florida.
Bro, it's
they're probably the number one employer. This is going to hit hard. Don't get me wrong. There's productions that are going to get shut down. We've got a whole video about this whole entire thing coming.
I'm just telling you
but the James Bond thing,
that's going to affect the movies. Like,
it will. But here's the thing: James Bond so far is the only movie that's delayed, and from what we've been hearing, no other movie is going to move right now. And fantastic. Fast and the Furious 9 is released by Universal, and Universal has international distribution on Bond. And if anybody's going to get hurt by the distribution of the movie this early, it's going to be Universal. This makes none of this makes sense. We got a video about this coming out.
So they're talking about Mulan too. Like they might.
I don't think it's going to get moved. It might, but if any of them do, it's going to be that one just because it's connection to China. And is it playing in China?
I have no idea, but
that's the only reason I could see them moving that one. But otherwise, there's been people insinuating that others might be delayed, but I don't think it's going to happen. And the other thing is Bond's getting delayed 7 months.
Wow.
That's the other thing.
Holy shit.
To do a reshoot.
Exactly. 2 reshoots, actually. 2 weeks worth of reshoots, actually.
That's interesting.
Exactly. We've got a video coming. I'm trying to tell you the least amount I can.
Listen, I'm not allowed to put this in a video. I'm not allowed to report it. But the Disney parks have been closed in China.
You just put it in a video.
Are not being taken care of.
He doesn't care for my channel.
Causing, it's not good. So I'm just saying, like, it's.
I think it's pretty well known that the parks are closed in China, though, isn't it?
I know, but what I'm saying is, if you have a job there, it's not their fault.
No, I know
they had to shut the parks down. The people still need to get paid, But when they're not being taken care of, then they're like, how do I provide for my family and stuff? It's caught.
I know this whole thing is going to blow up. My point, there's a few productions and other things that we know are going to shut down, and it's another thing because that's another thing, like you said, there's people that are losing work because of this in the industry and other industries. It's going to start affecting. That's going to in turn start affecting like delivery industries and other bits and parts. It's going to start. We're going to feel a ripple effect. I agree.
On top of it, Tom, you're going to have a writer's strike. So, will movies move on? Like, will they be able to produce much? I know they could bring in other writers. Fingers crossed for a friend over there. But like, what can they do if you're a lot of people
rewrites technically?
Well, but there's so much misinformation. There's so much misinformation about this. That country we were just talking about didn't handle this correctly. So, yes.
They never do, sadly.
No, they never do. And yes, this is a scary thing. It affects people. But it is also close to the same level as the common one that goes around this time of year also. But it depends on who you're listening to. You're either going to panic or you're going to do the right thing, wash your hands, do what you're going to do. But I see what Drunk's saying. I mean, just the fear of it, even if it doesn't blow up, just the fear of it is going to stop people from going to parks, movies, stores. I'm in a hotel. I'm hitting the buttons on the elevator with my elbow because in my head, I'm like, I don't want to get anything,
It's a purge effect. Everybody's kind of just locked in.
Yeah, and the other thing too is the big thing to take into consideration is don't panic. Panicking only makes it worse. But you also, at the same time, you got to be smart and you got to be prepared for any kind of disruption. That's the most important thing here. Is because
but what you guys don't realize, maybe you guys know this, and I don't, I'm not trying to be doom and gloom or anything, but my job is primarily over there, and I teach kids internationally and online, and they all tell me they're just like, we haven't left the house in like 60 days. Like we're not allowed. They have trucks that show up at the apartment complex that give them what they're going to eat. So it's like there's no movies, there's no going out, there's nothing. I mean, and we're talking countrywide. We're talking.
No, I agree, and that's why I'm talking
countrywide.
about the whole thing with being prepared. That's the biggest thing: is don't panic, just be prepared.
So like whatever they're doing over there, they're bringing trucks, and that's how they're getting their food, and it's just they're going stir crazy, and and it's just I don't know. I'm not saying that's going to happen here, but that's
you never know.
It's a big international market for money, and if I'm telling you, these companies start to lose money, they're going to go alternative routes to figure something out.
Socialism rules, yay!
All the way from their movies on out, yeah, because
That's way more communism than anything, really, and that's what's frightening.
Right.
Like supply chains have already been greatly disrupted. My girlfriend does loss prevention, and she's now having to work like later hours to sort of organize various companies' inventory so they can meet demands of customers, and because nothing's going to be coming in to North America like on the normal schedule now.
And that was the thing I was going to point out before I got cut off by Drunk, was the main thing I think we need to be concerned about is the supply chain breakdown, because we live in a global world, and once we start having countries closing their borders, we have a lot of stuff that comes from China. Fucking aluminum cans come from China, and so we're going to start seeing a shortage of canned food, soda, stuff like that. So like I said, be prepared, be smart, don't panic.
Right.
But you got to take care of
I'm
yourself.
already panicking. They
literally
canceled
take a
my
shot at it?
Gandalf. I ordered a Gandalf from Sideshow Toy, and they canceled it.
That's
Full panic mode.
Well, you're in a state of emergency, aren't you guys, Gary?
Yes, we are.
And what's going on out there? Where is it like actually?
Dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria. No.
Poop on the streets.
Open syringes.
That was before this shit, though.
The same people who wear masks around the city are still wearing masks. That's about it.
Yeah. Okay. And I mean, you could probably use this as a reasoning why people shouldn't be able to crap on the street, though. I mean, it is a little unhygienic.
It's also illegal everywhere. I don't know why it's not enforced.
No, not in San Francisco, right?
They can't. They don't have the resources. Plus, if cops do anything, there's somebody with their phone out filming them. If they do one thing wrong, I mean, like, to be a cop here would be a miserable experience, I bet.
I couldn't imagine.
Yeah. So it's just, if it hits here and it really hits bad, it'll hit the homeless population, and then it'll hit everybody else. And that's why I don't go out very much.
Yep. That's why I like working from home. I don't have to worry about it.
Just be a shut-in.
Yeah, pretty much.
I like it.
All right, guys, I got to bail.
Yeah, man, I'm actually going to wrap it up anyways. I appreciate, you guys all coming on. I definitely want to first give a shout out to the author, Stephen Walton. He actually has been anchoring this on his end because I'm in a hotel. He's been, chatting with everybody. So I appreciate him doing that. So thank you. I'd like to thank everybody out there in the chat. I'm guessing some of these guys brought you over. So if you're not subscribed to my channel, hook a brother up. So we'll go around. We'll start with script, or actually, I know you have to jump. So if you want to, plug your channel, comics, what you're doing.
Sure thing, man. Hi, on Comix Division, also known as, I guess, the fleshy meat sack. Now that I'm showing my face on my channel.
I know.
I actually just released a video while we're alive, so when you guys are done, you can go check it out and talk about the whole thing with Tess Fowler attacking Sean Gordon Murphy for getting a DC imprint, which was...
I was going to talk about that tonight, actually. I just didn't know if you guys were up on it.
Yeah. She's still appropriately named.
Yes.
Her last name, she is a Fowler.
Foul Tess, yeah. So go check me out. You can actually see what I look like now because I'm using the camera I got back in December, and that's kind of the format that we're going for now. You can also follow me at Comix Division on Twitter, even though I really don't say anything. And you can also catch me on Friday Night Tights with Gary on the Nerdrotic channel.
Woo! All right, thank you, man. Thank you for stopping in.
Is that the same Gary who owned a comic book store?
That would be the exact same Gary, but I don't believe for a hot minute that he actually owned a comic shop.
Oh,
he's
so that's just
lying to you. He's lying.
My God. There's people who actually say that. Which
Are
is
you
funny.
serious? That's hilarious. I'm just joking around when I say it, but
No, I get the you don't know anything about comics or
That's
snap.
You're
People
right.
suck. People do suck.
yeah, they really do. But thanks for having me on. It was great hanging with everyone, and I'll talk to you guys later. And Gary, I'll see you tomorrow night.
Take care, sir.
Thanks.
Take care, Comics.
And everybody else, I appreciate you guys coming. So, Tom, just let them know about that video again, where they can find it, your other channel.
It should be on main channel eventually here. I don't know if it's going to be up tonight or not, but we'll hope.
What is it?
It's about the whole bond business, but it's getting so late that Andre might not want to put it up tonight, so we'll see.
Stephen,
You interrupted Tom. I just wanted to pop in and say it was a great stream. Thank all you guys for
He's
showing
talking,
up.
isn't he?
Oh, yes. And showing support to my friend Scott.
I can't hear him.
Thank you to the chat. Hail, everybody. I'm dipping out.
He said you're a dick.
Oh, wow. I can't believe he just said that on the air.
Yeah,
That wouldn't
dude.
be the first time.
Foul language.
That wouldn't be the first time at all.
You should have heard what he said about you. Never mind.
What? He wasn't supposed to talk about that. Script Doctor, where can they find you, buddy?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter at ScriptDoctorPhD and here on YouTube at youtube.com/ScriptDoctor. I'm hoping to have my episode 6 Picard review up probably Friday because it's going to be a long one, and then I can only imagine how long the episode 7 one is going to be.
Dude.
So
You better start now.
I'm watching that after.
yeah, I'm actually going to be heading on over to the Pegasus Actual podcast with author Stephen Walton. So we're going to be reviewing Battlestar Galactica, the 2004 thing. That's our palate cleanser to get us through these tough times. So if you have the time, please join us over there. Also, I would like to reinforce subscribing to Comix Division because now that we can see his face, he is rocking one hell of a muff tickler. So it's quite impressive. So
It really is. That is like vintage 90s muff tickler.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like Dave Navarro almost.
You know what he looks like to me? He looks like that cool guy that they draw in a comic shop in a comic book.
Yeah.
he's the anti-Will Wheaton.
He kind of is. He does look like that. They drew that guy in a comic book all through the early 2000s. Too.
Exactly.
Always the guy with the muff tickler.
Well, didn't Doctor Strange have that look a little bit, or was more of a goatee? I mean, it is.
Dude, I had that look forever. Like just
did you really?
Yeah.
And the weird thing was at one time.
At one time.
Say it with me now.
Oh, I used to own a comic shop.
That's
right.
There you go.
I also been drawn into many comic books.
Yeah, I've seen.
I am that guy with the muff tickler in a comic book.
That's where it came from.
I'm in I'm in the boys. I'm in a bunch of stuff.
Yeah,
I've got the issues of You and the Boys. Well, the issue of You and the Boys.
It is you. What's your part in it?
I'm working for Vought, and I'm at the warehouse, and the guy I'm with was my manager at the time, Russell Burns, and we're bringing in flamethrowers. I'm bringing in flamethrowers. Yeah.
What issue is that? Do you know?
It is issue 23.
So if you want to own a piece of Nerdrotic, or not the actual company, but Gary, go buy that one if you can find it.
I'm in issue 23 and issue 37. On issue 37, I'm on the bridge watching a plane fly into a building on 9/11. 9/11-ish kind of a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. That's nuts, man. Hey, Drunk, you want to plug anything? Maybe your trip or your channel?
My trip?
Well, you're going down to help the kids, right? And May.
He's all, which trip are you talking about? The one I'm taking right now in my room, or
I was just about to watch Dune, man.
First, I want to thank First, I want to thank Gary for letting us have that little skit on his Friday Night Tykes. That was
no problem, man. That was fun.
That was we were really I think out of all of us, we were like nervous that you would not approve. So, but you know, it worked out. It worked out okay.
Do I come off as the kind of guy who wouldn't approve for something like that? I hope I don't.
You come off as the kind of guy who takes his job seriously, and we want to maintain that
it's
order.
respect, Gary. It's respect.
I appreciate it.
It's a major respect for your channel. It's a major respect for your channel. That's why I get nervous coming on Friday Night Tykes, because I'm not, you've seen the Dark Council, how we behave. And I'm like, I come on Friday Night Tykes, I'm trying to like respect the channel. So that's all it is, honestly. Just it's a high, I hold you and Tom in the highest of respects. I tell them that all the time. So as Script Doctor, I'm hearing you talk very intelligently. It's like there's another one that I've got to better my English language to me and Scott will just stay back here.
Yeah, dude.
I love you guys. You keep me grounded.
Someday Drunk's gonna figure out I'm just stoned.
Dude, Tom is high all the time. And you guys have been on, you've all been on Script Doctor. We'll get you on Friday Night Tights. You see the amount of prep that goes into that show. It's like at least a minute. Maybe 2.
I know it's respect. It's all respect. Before I just want to plug Jane Theory was in the chat. I'd rather plug her channel.
Yeah, she's great.
She's she probably left.
Lethal Lightning. A bunch of people are in there. Christy.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, there she is.
Orville Nation.
Awesome chat.
She is
Rob
the most.
Was in
there. I'm waiting. I don't want to cut anybody.
She's you're fine, Jay.
Plug Jane. Plug Jane.
Is it my turn or what do I
go?
Sorry.
She is the most underrated YouTube channel I think I've ever seen. She has an amazing channel. She needs to get to 200. So I don't know if she's at 200 subscribers yet. But she needs to get there. So instead of subbing to me, sub to her. And
links in the chat.
There she is. Okay, yeah. Put her link in there. She's I love seeing these YouTube like you, Scott. Congratulations. I've only been on YouTube a year, and if it wasn't for Galaxy's Edge, I probably wouldn't have the subs that I have now. So but
it's great.
Just subbed.
Yeah, so sub to Jane Theory. Oh, she is at 200. All right, well then let's get her to 300. Underrated channel.
There you go. Let's just all get up.
We'll plug you on Friday, Jane. We'll help out a little bit. Do what we can.
Oh yeah. And Gary, thank you for coming in, man. I always appreciate when you stop in. You, Tom, Drunk, you might be saying that about everyone else, but if you didn't have that stream that one day where you were talking very positive about just going for it, I would never have started a channel. So, I mean, you do motivate people, man, even if you're not trying. Gary and Tom and Gary have had my back with Mary since the beginning and Stephen. So like, I don't forget that type of stuff. I'm the type of person
upset when you find out we're just doing it because of Mary.
Well, I'll take that, man. I'll take that.
I'm just kidding. Of course, we
it's fine. I'm gonna destroy your shenanigans. No, I appreciate everything that everyone does. I really do. Coming from what I've been through and the things I've done in my life to have what I have now, a family, a home, a house. I'm just grateful for that. But on top of it, being able to talk nerdom with people that I respect is a lot of fun. So if this grows, that's a great thing. But if not, I already have connections that I respect. So I'm happy with that. So Gary, thank you for coming on, man.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me.
Right. Oh, thank you, Jane. Sorry, I read that.
You want to plug your little channel, Gary?
Oh, no, subscribe to Jane Theory.
Yeah, there we go.
Let's get it to 1,000.
And subscribe to Script Doctor, please. Because what are you at, buddy?
I have no idea.
I don't even know how you're below me. The guy's videos are amazing. So
he's on so many other.
Let's focus on getting Scott to 1,000 because if he does, I'm going to try and convince him to release the theme song I wrote for his channel.
I do still have it. He did write a theme song.
Oh, now I got to hear this.
Well, I might have to talk to you, Tom, about recording it. It's to Scott. He doesn't know, but he made up the words. It's pretty good. All right, we're going to end this now. Please, if you're in the chat, subscribe to us all, everybody. We rise together. Don't forget the Fourth Wave on Wednesdays and Saturday nights. Usually definitely on Stephen Walton's on Saturday nights. We have a rotating schedule on Wednesdays. So subscribe to all the Fourth Wave guys. Thank you, everybody, for coming out. I appreciate it. On to 1,000. Be safe out there. And if they're calling you names, they've lost the war. Have a good one, everybody.